Wow, I love that sound. Real Talk, Health Talk. Super Saturday, Joseph Brownlee. It is now 4 minutes after 11 a.m. in the Chicago area. Welcome to Real Talk, Body of Christ Real Talk, Health Talk, Saturday. Now, this is Health Talk and also a little series that I'm going to be doing called The Food That I Love Was Killing Me. Now, I want to remind my new listeners who have not been listening to my podcast or anyone that has been just tuning into my podcast. I want you to notice how podcasts work. At least what I be using is always from top to bottom. That don't mean the first podcast that you might hear, unless they synchronize it the right way, is going to be the last one that I've done. Does not mean it's the beginning of the series. So if you have noticed, and if you are interested, I have the last 18, I believe, shows that I have done, 15-minute increments, 15 minutes apiece. The last 18 shows that I have done is based on health. Okay, it's based on diet. It's based on health information, my personal health information, the information that I have learned, and some opinions of mine, what I feel about what's happening. So if you're interested of knowing what I do, and you are interested in knowing about health, basically looked at in a biblical perspective. I'm not finna here judge other diets or nothing like that. And I want you to know the only one that I promote, not because it's the best, it's what works for me, and maybe it can work for you. Not because it's the best, it's because it's the one who's working for me and what I am previously doing now for the last 10.5 months that I'm going to be promoting on here, Real Talk. That's why I call it Real Talk, Health Talk. And so you're not going to get breakdowns on every type of diet because I don't know nothing about every type of diet. I'm not going to break down the vegetarian or the vegan or the paleo or the Mediterranean or the liquid diets and nothing like that. This is basically low carb and no carb. So the diets that I do promote, if you are interested, is the keto and the carnivore. And I will promote the keto diet more than the carnivore because the keto is less restrictive than the carnivore diet that I am doing. I'm doing no carbs and I'm doing mostly meat. Okay. The keto is more added good vegetables and stuff like that. 10% of carbohydrates. Starting off with, if that's strict enough. Ketogenic, you know. So what I am doing, I'm not saying to follow what I'm doing, because a lot of the carnivore people will not even eat like I eat. Why? Because they will consider what I'm doing a carnivore diet, because I believe some of them are stuck off thinking they are animals, they are mammals. So they kind of stuck and get kind of radical of what's carnivore, what's not carnivore. I'm not into that, man. I believe in creation. I don't believe in an evolution way of looking at things. I don't base, and I like what Tony Hampton said one time, which I agree with. I don't base what's happening with me on past creation or past evolution. Now, what do I mean by that? I based on results what's happening with me now. And the reason I'm a creationist, I believe there is a creator, there is a God, as well as the Son, Jesus Christ, as well as the third God of the Trinity, the Holy Spirit. That's what I believe in, okay? So I look at things in a creationist perspective, not an evolved perspective. If that's you, you're not going to get that from me because I don't believe that theory. Okay, I believe in the creationist theory. It's just my belief. It's what that's my faith. So that's what you're going to get from me. So if I'm going to look at things in a biblical perspective, the only thing I got to go on is what I see what the Bible talking about. And the Bible don't put a lot of emphasis on we need to eat meat only, or we need to eat vegetables only, or we need to eat fruit only. The Bible does not. If you read the Bible and you want to find out what's the best diet, the Bible does not really tell you what's the best diet, because you got to start from Genesis and stuff like that, see, because you have different people then. You had different way to eat. You had sin and then you had no sin. You have to look at the cycles, what people had available at that time. And since I wasn't there, I don't have all the 100% facts on that creation. You see what I'm saying? I don't even mess with evolution. That's even worse. But my point is, that's all I have. Only thing I have to fall on of what's working with the low carb and no carb is what's happening over the past, say, 100 years or so with low carb diets. That's all I got to fall on. I'm not going to base, like Tony Hampton said, and I loved him, and I thank you for saying that. And I don't base my diet lifestyle on what happened to my ancestors and why my ancestors are healthy like they are, or what my grandpa and my great great grandparents ate like they ate. Because a lot of them didn't eat good either. And I also look at a lot of them that have the ultra processed junk that we got today. If they had that then, they might have ate it. But they did not. But you got to look back scientifically, because you had overweight people then, but not as prevalent that you have today with the introduction of ultra processed frankenfood, bad carbohydrates. Frankenfood, what they have today. There is a difference, no doubt about that. But I can't base what's happening with me because of what my ancestors done, even though I can use some of that past stuff of what they ate and how they was eating. I wasn't there. And a lot of them ate their way was because they said this is the best way to eat. A lot of them ate their way because that's all they had. Eggs. And a lot of basic foods and natural foods. That's all they had. They didn't have many choices like we have today here in Western America. You see what I'm saying? Which is mostly bad, frankenfood, ultra-processed poison. So I don't get caught up in it like a lot of carnivores do. They go as far as say, the animals didn't do that. Man, you're not an animal. So when you listen to this, I'm going to look at what's happening today. Low carb. I'm not going to get deep in evolution or creationism. If I'm going to talk about creation, it's going to be from a biblical perspective when it comes to Bible study or something like that. I don't have the credentials to talk about the perfect human diet because I don't know. I just know what works for me and what's working for hundreds and hundreds of others. And I know in a biblical perspective when it comes to foods, real food, because the majority of food in America is not real food. It's not considered food. But real food, after the curse, the fall of man, the majority of people ate mostly meat. That's all I got to go by. I don't know. I don't even know the why so much, but I know the majority of people, God chose to have them eat more meat. Stuff like that. But he didn't exclude vegetables. He didn't exclude fruit. But the most of the people was eating meat. And they done okay. They done well. That's all I got to go by. See? So I don't want nobody getting confused that the Bible said we should eat this way. It was certain time God told Daniel to eat only vegetables. It was certain things certain people ate or whatever like that. You can't go by that. Those are different times. They had less resources. It was a different country, and they did not have ultra-processed poisonous food like we do today. That's why they could not eat it. It wasn't even thought of. So I can't go by that. See, the ancestors done this, whether you're looking at it in the evolution way, and our ancestors, whether you look at it, they done it. They didn't have ultra-processed food. That's why they can eat that way. If it was ultra-processed food, they could have been tempted to eat it. They was tempted to do everything else. It was still illicit sex. It was still adultery. It was still fornication. Cussing is still going on. They just didn't have ultra-processed food. They may have ate it. I don't know. Or they probably could not eat it because their body was so used to eating real food. See, they had real stuff there. We don't have that today. So I can't keep basing it on that. What is their real why? That's what I'm trying to say. What was their real reason they ate that way? Was because, they had a format that say only eat this. Now, some people ate certain ways because of religion and beliefs. Or they didn't eat certain things, like the Jews could not eat certain porks and they couldn't eat certain animals. Some of the animals that I eat, the Jews cannot eat it because of religious reasons. But it changed after the dispensation of grace. Remember Acts 10? When Peter said, Lord, I can't eat none of them. Remember the 4 different type of animals came down in Acts 10? And God said, what I have created clean, you can't eat, something like that. Don't call this unclean to what I have made clean. See, God changed, he flipped the script in the right way because it was going to a Gentile nation. See, what the Jews could not eat, the Gentiles ate it. Nothing happened to them, but the Jews, for religious reasons, couldn't eat it. So it's all type of reasons. So we can't keep going back to the ancestors, okay? All right. I'm just going to just let you know that all I promote here on this show is low carb and no carb. What's happening today, or what I know was happening for me and what's happening to hundreds of others. I don't have a lot of scientific proof or anything, because like my man Tony Hampton said, a lot of people that looks at a ancestral way or evolution type of way, especially, they just making up, they just throwing stuff out there. They guessing. They saying 50,000 million, a million years and 100,000. They just throwing numbers out there. Have no doggone proof. It's just theory. And they look so fair. And people say, yeah, that's right, yeah, that's right. You better be careful. Those are theories, so I can't believe what you're saying because you just throwing numbers out there. Just go by what's going on now for the last 60, 70, 80 years. What happened with you? Don't base it on that, But for each his own, I don't go there. I lose faith in people that keep looking at things in an evolutionist way, or just saying we need to do it the way the Bible do it because God, when you say God said that, you're lying on God. But all I can say is the majority of the people in the creationist way in the Bible, majority of them was eating meat. Even when they made sacrifices, they used animals. Animals, not vegetables. That's all I can go by. Why? It's something about the blood. The blood, okay? God used animals for purposes that pleased him. That's all I got to go by. Okay? I know it wasn't vegetables and it wasn't fruits. But did people still eat vegetables? Fruits? Yes, they did. You got some people that only eat vegetables. You got some people only eat fruit. I chose to eat more meat. That's all I'm going by, okay? Some things can become a cult. Veganism has become a cult. Now the carnivore groups are becoming occults now. It's becoming a religion. You got the carnivore police and the carnivore little g gods out there that's hurting a lot of people. And I hate to see these videos of people are hurt because of the remarks that some of these carnivore people are making. Now they sound like vegans and vegetarians now. Man, I'm not into that, man. Get out my face with that, man. I'm not a carnivore. I'm not an animal. I'm not a mammal. I'm created by God. And I choose this lifestyle because it's working for me. And then it's meat. And I will later on add certain decent vegetables and herbs, which I still think is still good. So I'm not caught in no bubble. It's a lot of decent fruit that is still good. I just need to recycle it, not recycle it, but put it back in slowly but surely because my body was destroyed with the ultra-processed junk so much. Okay? All right. That's what you're going to get on Real Talk. Straight out Real Talk, man. You ain't going to get no vegetarian talk and no die-hard carnivore talk or no even keto talk. You're going to get what's working for me, low carb. And I do think that low carb is one of the best diets, especially for the real obese people and reverse the type 2 diabetes. I would take a reversal over type 2 diabetes, placebo test with meat and keto over a vegan diet. Big time. But I'm not saying the vegan and vegetarian don't work. Okay? My main thing is, as long as you stopping the sugar and all that other junk, that's good with me. You doing it? That's a great start right there. Quit the sugar and all the other garbage, ultra processed junk, and then you on your way. That's all I got to say. Whatever diet you on. God bless you. Peace out. Real Talk with Joseph Brownlee. Bye bye. Love you all.